What's up guys, welcome to the video. This is something a little bit different, and I wanted to do this video actually unless you've been living under a rock for the past couple of years. There's this thing called Brexit. The UK will be leaving the European Union. It should have been on the 29th of March, but as of the date of recording there is an extension. We still don't really know what's going to happen. At this point we don't know if Brexit is going to happen anyway. But I had the idea for this video after the recent videos surrounding the current state of the game in Europe and the stock issues that we have. So I wanted to explore what, in a bit more detail, what would happen if the UK did leave the European Union and Brexit did happen. So first of all, big thanks to Rene from TCG Collectibles, who helped me out a lot with this video. I don't think I would have been able to do this without his input. Also shout out to Peter and Liam for helping out bits as well. So how might Brexit affect the game in Europe? So I've done a bit of research, and this is what I've come up with. Hopefully the information is all accurate. There may be some finer details which I may not have gone into and may have missed, and if I have, then please drop them in the comments below. Get a discussion going as well. So basically, a bit of background. The European distribution license from Bandai for the game goes to Asdevium Games, which is a UK company, although they have changed their trading name to Asmodee UK for now. Well, they have changed it now, but they are still a UK company, and this company is the one that holds the license to distribute across the whole of Europe. Now they are wholly owned by Asmodee. This is the French company, and they have subsidiaries within Europe as well. There's a Netherlands one, I know, but yeah, they're French owned, but the company itself is a UK based company. And we've seen from their what we can see from their 2017 accounts that Brexit has affected their product costs, which are mainly purchased from outside the UK. They are more expensive. That's probably due to the pound falling, and if Brexit goes ahead, expect that to continue. But the important thing to note is that Asdevium Games is a UK company, and they are the only company that can distribute the game across Europe. So this is important because from what we can work out, all the product comes from Japan, and it comes to the UK first. It goes through customs, gets into the UK, and then from the UK it gets distributed to the rest of Europe. So there's one customs check, and because the UK is in the single market, in the customs union, then everything gets distributed out, and there are no problems there, apart from obviously what we have seen with Set 6, with the bad weather and whatnot. So just a few details on the benefits of being in the single market. Of course, this only applies to the game, and the wider Brexit debate encompasses a lot of different other different viewpoints. In the customs union, there are no tariffs placed on imported goods. So if you've imported from the States, which I suspect quite a few of you have, then sometimes you may know that your cards get delayed because of customs, and you get extra tariffs imposed on those cards, and you have to pay a bit more if you get caught. It doesn't always happen, but for suppliers, for distribution, these will always get placed on. So in the customs union, there are no tariffs importing from the UK if you are in Europe. So that means any goods that come from the UK, if say you're in Germany and you're buying goods from the UK, there are no additional costs and tariffs upon those goods that are coming into your country. There is also a free movement of goods within the EU single market, which means there are no customs checks. So you can just get a truck of cards, drive it from Dover to Calais, and it's fine. There are no customs checks, there's no delay, and it should, in theory, be very smooth. So we spoke a bit about the customs, and these are the current percentages that the tariffs are at the moment. So the EU has a trade deal with Japan, which came into force in February, which means that for playing cards, which includes the Dragon Ball card game, there are no tariffs, so 0%. So all the goods come from Japan to the UK, does not get charged an additional customs tariff. You will have to have customs checks, of course, so there was a bit of time lost there. Between the EU and the USA, there is currently a 10% tariff. This is because of the trade dispute, and if you have been following other card games such as Pokemon and Magic, I think they both come from the US. There have been increases in price due to this 10% tariff being imposed. We don't know how long this is going to last for, but that it's 10% at the moment, so that's probably why your imported cards cost a bit more than they used to. And so the UK is part of Europe at the moment, so these percentages apply to the UK. So if Brexit doesn't happen, this will remain the case, and what we have right now is going to it's just going to carry on. The status quo will not change. If the UK does go out, then a few things happen. Firstly, the UK loses all the trade deals that it benefits from the EU. So the trade deal between the EU and Japan is lost. That 0% is no longer in effect. It's possible that the 10% tariff with the US remains, but it would be unlikely. You would expect the EU not to impose this tariff on the US when it comes out of the single market. But I think it depends on the US as well. If the US slaps a 10% on all UK goods, then the UK might do the same. So that might remain. But if it doesn't, then that's actually good news, as we can see in this next slide. So these are the potential customs percentages. Basically, the UK doesn't actually currently have a deal with Japan, doesn't have a trade deal with the EU. Theresa May's plan doesn't let the UK stay in the customs union. If there is a no-deal Brexit, then the UK will be trading under World Trade Organization rules, and this basically means it all becomes 2.7%. So the goods coming in from Japan, 2.7% slapped on top, and then the goods going to Europe from the UK is 2.7% slapped on top of that as well. There's a slight good news, is that the 2.7% will also apply to goods coming in from the States into the UK. Now, I mean, we've seen, as I've mentioned, with Pokemon, this is the Pokemon announcement when the 10% tariff was put on the States, stuff coming in from the States. The price did get passed on to the consumer here, but this was quite a big jump. It was a 10% jump, so yeah, I mean, I think for businesses, for the Pokemon TCG, it was quite, I wouldn't say it was reasonable, but you know, it's expected that the price would be passed on to the consumer. These percentages that we're talking about for Dragon Ball are a bit smaller, and generally the potential effects of Brexit on the game in Europe would be, as I said, a 2.7% cost on product coming into the UK from Japan. What this means for Europe is a 5.4% increase in customs because of the 2.7 from Japan to the UK, and then 2.7 from the UK to Europe. This is just the cost of customs, and actually customs costs customs tariffs, sorry, aren't as big as the delay and the cost of customs checks. Now, there will be additional potential delay from product entering the UK from Japan because there isn't a trade deal in place as there is with the EU and Japan. So those customs checks might increase in length, might then add additional costs to it. There will then be customs checks between the UK and Europe, causing additional delay and again potentially additional costs as well. So the 5.4% seems to be the minimum amount of increase. With the additional customs checks, there may be more time delays as well. So we've speculated in a previous video that because all the product comes in from Japan to the UK first, and because the UK can't get it out to the rest of Europe in time, that the UK release of Set 6 has been delayed because it's actually not a UK release, it's a European release. So until all the countries in Europe are ready to release the product and have the product, the set gets delayed. And if there are going to be additional delays of the product getting into the UK and also the UK shipping out to Europe, we might get even longer delays as we get now. So perhaps the extra 5-10% cost might not be too much of a deterrent for you guys in Europe. You know, maybe you're able to swallow that. Maybe you think, okay, that's fine, we can pay the extra money, but this potentially causes a lot more delay in terms of when the set is actually ready to be released if Bandai continue to have a Europe-wide release date rather than for individual countries. The slight upside would be that it could be cheaper to import to the UK from the US, approximately 7% cheaper overall when you factor in all the taxes and all the customs. So generally the formula would be your cost of cards plus your shipping, and then that is multiplied by the customs percentage. So currently it's 10%, and potentially it will be 2.7% from the US, and then you get your VAT of 20% slapped on top of that as well. In the Netherlands, I know it's 21%, so I was talking to Renee, and yeah, so that's what he has to pay. But yeah, obviously there are pros to this, I guess. That importing from the US is cheaper, but we don't really want to see that because we've seen the effects of that on the game in Europe already. But yeah, we're looking at additional costs. The UK costs might not be as high because it is only a 2.7 increase, and Asmodee might just swallow that. They did make 25 million profit in 2017, so sorry, 2017 or 2018. I think it was like a 56 million turnover and 25 million profit. So they're doing pretty okay. Although this will obviously affect all of their other lines as well. So they don't just do Dragon Ball. They do a very wide variety of things. And so their costs are going to go up. So perhaps their products costs to the shops, to various distributors, will go up as well. Again, this is going to be magnified for Europe. But we'll see. I think there will be delays. Hopefully the price increase won't be too high for the customers, because we're paying a lot more than they pay in the States for product already, and that does affect sales because it's cheaper. As Rene said in previous videos, it's cheaper for him to actually buy from the States, pay the taxes, pay for the shipping, and it's just cheaper for him to do that than to actually get it from the European suppliers. So these additional costs will not help sales, and delays will, if there are extra delays, then that will be even worse. And yeah, so that's basically what the potential effects of Brexit on the game in Europe would be. If you have any questions, if you want any clarification of anything, then please leave it in the comments below. And yeah, just let me know what you think about this video. I did put quite a fair amount of time into this, researching, learning more about the customs union, single market, and importing things. So it was pretty interesting for me. Hope it was for you. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like on the video. Please sub for more content. This isn't going to be a typical content that I have on the channel. But yeah, if you're interested in the game in Europe, in the UK, please leave a sub. And that's it. I will see you guys next time.